I think it's become pretty clear that Google, and DeepMind in particular, has become one of the leaders, if not the leader, in artificial intelligence today. Their Gemini 2.5 models are leading a lot of the benchmarks and just some phenomenal products, whether you're talking about their large language models or their video or their multimodal models. But what I think isn't getting enough attention is what they're doing in the physical world. I think Alphabet, Google, and DeepMind is ultimately going to try to be the operating system of the physical world. They announced some of this a couple of weeks ago with their Gemini Robotics. I'm going to go through that in just a second. But they have a new product coming out with Samsung. Now, Google is not going to become a hardware manufacturer, but if they're working with other hardware manufacturers and they're creating the software layer, the operating system, the artificial intelligence for the physical world, that could be an extremely valuable place for them to be. So I'm going to try to dig through exactly what we know today. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. Let's look at what they announced recently. And this is from March 12th. Gemini Robotics brings AI into the physical world. And what they're doing here is they're using their typical multimodal models. And what they're doing here is they're using their typical multimodal models to actually power robots. So they're saying, in these interactions, hey, put the red ball into the white bowl. And then even if they move the white bowl around, they can continue to operate that robot. So this is pretty primitive right now. This is one of the interactions that they showed. You can see that these hands are not the most complex. These aren't going to be the same as the hands that you're going to see from some of the other robotics companies, but their ability to just take audio input and kind of a standard robotics design and actually do useful things, I think is really compelling. And this is what they're calling a vision language action model. It says here that Gemini Robotics leverages Gemini's world understanding to generalize the novel situations and solve a wide variety of tasks out of the box, including tasks it is never seen before in training. So again, these AI systems are getting smarter and they're multimodal, meaning they can do multiple things. So they can create text, they can create video, they can create actions. So that's the platform piece. That's the software piece. The next piece is, what are you going to actually make with it? What are people actually going to buy? Are they going to buy a humanoid robot? I have a lot of questions about whether humanoid robots are going to be a really big market, but there's obviously a lot of companies that are investing a lot in that. What we know first is that they're coming out with a product made by Samsung, partnership to bring Gemini to Bali, a home AI companion robot by Samsung. This is going to be available this summer. Bali will be able to engage in natural conversation, interactions to help users manage home environments, including adjusting lighting, greeting people at the door, personalizing schedules, setting reminders, and more. So maybe not the most revolutionary product, but we're at least testing the form factors and the use cases for AI today. And here's a quick video of what Bali can do. So you can have this thing just kind of rolling around, seeing what's going on in your place. If you have a dog that's out, you may be familiar with kind of what this looks like. Do you want to be able to communicate with your animal? Do you want to change the temperature? There's a lot of really interesting potential use cases. And what I think we need to understand here is that this is just a first product. This is basically like a prototype. Is this something that people are interested in? Which things are they using the most? Because artificial intelligence, as generalizable as it is as Google and DeepMind create these models that can do hundreds or thousands of different things, then we're going to have to match that with form factors. Do people want to have a humanoid that's actually doing things for them and walking around their house on a day-to-day basis? Do they want to have a little ball that's driving around? Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. There's a lot of different ways that this could go, but the interesting thing for Alphabet and for Google is that they're seemingly creating the AI, not only the artificial intelligence, but kind of the operating system for these pieces of hardware. You combine that with things like Google Home, and this could be the kind of device and the kind of AI tool that you're actually interacting with and getting things done with. I could imagine saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to be home in 30 minutes. I would like to have this kind of food prepared or the oven on, or maybe there's an automatic lawnmower that can have your lawn mowed when you're coming home from vacation. These aren't revolutionary products, but they're practical use cases for artificial intelligence. And if these are going to be coming into the home and they're going to be using these powerful new models where we're turning voice or text into actions, it's going to be really interesting to see if Alphabet and Google and DeepMind are going to be at the center of that. Are they able to leverage all of their major points of distribution through the Android ecosystem, through Google search, through their identity tools that they have online. Remember, this is a company that knows a lot about billions and billions of people around the world. And does that then translate into hardware integration? Because if they can do the same thing they did with Android, with robotics, that's going to ultimately be a really valuable place for Alphabet to be. If Alphabet and Google are successful in this arena, where is this actually going to show up in their financials? This is the first thing to look at. The Google Cloud is going to be kind of the catch-all for a lot of their artificial intelligence developments. A lot of these tools are going to be accessing the cloud in some way, shape, or form. And you can see that this business, since the September 2020 quarter, and these are all trailing 12-month numbers, has grown at a compound annual growth rate of over 35%. On top of that, it's gone from negative operating margins to now positive operating margins. That operating margin only about 15% over the past 12 months, but that could get up to 20, maybe even 30% over the next couple of years. So this is really the first place that you're going to see an impact from growth in AI and the potential to become a hardware operating system. The second is going to be in this catch-all that they report, which is Google's subscriptions, platform, and devices revenue. This is going to be everything from Android to the Play Store to the hardware that they sell. So things like the Google Pixel. But if they have hardware revenue or some of the pieces of software like you have at the Play Store, this is where that revenue is going to show up. So these are the two areas that you're going to want to watch on Alphabet's income statement to see, are they having success becoming an AI hardware company, an AI hardware operating system? I don't think this is necessarily going to be called out specifically, but these products that I've talked about here are going to be tailwinds for both of these segments. So just another reason to be bullish on Google's prowess in the cloud and in AI distribution. So don't underestimate this as a potential growth driver. And I think robotics and AI robotics is going to be potentially a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and a bigger player in that than you might think might be Google and Alphabet. Something to keep in mind for a stock that's only trading at 18 or 19 times earnings. I think this is one of those cases where they have phenomenal upside, and partnerships with Samsung, who is actually going to make the hardware, are going to be really important for them. So do they continue those in the future? We will see. But Alphabet and Google may be a bigger winner in artificial intelligence than you think, and it's trading for a pretty phenomenal price. But let me know what you think about what Alphabet, Google, and DeepMind, I know they've got so many different layers, what they're doing in robotics today. Let me know what you think about that strategy, because this is one of the reasons that I own the stock. But I know that that's a little bit of a contrarian play to the market today. Love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.